Joining us now, Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton. Tom, great to have you here.
Hi, Lou.
Tonight, we have begun our pivot to the crimes that were actually committed, and our attention turns to the people who committed them, not to people who did not commit crimes, namely the people in this administration. Your thoughts about how important it is, as the president has framed it, that this never happen again to any president?
Well, it's going to require significant investigations, and as you point out, criminal charges where appropriate to make sure that future government bureaucrats don't decide to engage in coup operations against the elected president or attacking properly the political opponent of the presidential candidate you favor. There's got to be some significant accountability there. But also there's got to be transparency that can be done in the meantime, meaning expose everything that went on. The deep state's hiding behind classifications to keep the key documents secret. The president can take steps there to open the floodgates in terms of transparency. But also we've got to recognize who the bad guys are and don't pretend they're not bad guys, because there are a lot of public officials, including people like Congressman Schiff, who have knowingly lied for years about Russia collusion, and yet they continue to participate in the public policy process with no accountability. And we need to start highlighting that in a more aggressive way. Why is Adam Schiff still chairman of the Intelligence Committee? He does not have the ethical mores to maintain the chairmanship, nor can he be trusted, certainly with classified information.
He's obviously unstable. He is, without question, lying. He said that he has had evidence of collusion from now more than 2 years, none of which he sees. Apparently, he saw fit to turn over to Bob Mueller and the special counsel team, because Bob Mueller could not find any American who colluded in any way, conspired with, cooperated with the Russians. He is an absolute charlatan.
No, and we have to also recognize the Mueller report, the Mueller phase of the coup is over, and now the other part of the coup will continue in Congress. Whether or not they go down the impeachment path, I don't think they might, but they're still having a series of unprecedented subpoenas targeting and harassing the president, asking for confidential financial information, trying to take his IRS files improperly so they can rifle through his tax returns. No president has been under siege the way this president has in such a lawless way, and it's all based on politics, not because of misconduct.
Yeah, this is now, I think it's gone well beyond politics. This is a group of committee chairmen, it appears, along with the Democratic Party, who are working very hard with many officials who remain in senior positions within the Justice Department and the FBI. They're trying to cover up their crimes. They are trying to escape consequence and punishment for those crimes. And it's at the same time, the Judiciary Committee, the Oversight and Reform Committee, have already filed 10 subpoenas, including one seeking the unredacted Mueller report. This farce is going on, and if it is not in fact subverting, it is distracting the administration from its many duties, including foreign policy and domestic security, as well as, by the way, border security.
Yeah, the harassment has got to stop. Schiff should be subpoenaing himself. Certainly the Democratic minority and now majority was conspiring with Fusion GPS and their friends in the deep state to take out President Trump. I think it'd be interesting to get some documents about those interactions. And we also have to recognize that the president is a crime victim here. That's the approach that needs to be taken, in my view, by the Justice Department.
Well, it's not even, there's no construction there. It's certainly not a contrivance. It's a reality. He has been assailed.
Well, you know, if a regular citizen were improperly spied upon, if they were creating fake evidence to justify spying, if they were abusing their office that was entrusted to them at the FBI like Peter Strzok did, or James Comey, if James Comey stole your FBI file, Lou, he'd be subject to being prosecuted by the Justice Department for violating the Privacy Act and stealing government records. That needs to be done in this case for President Trump.
And all of this is within the purview of the Attorney General. The Attorney General has impressed me. I want to turn to you for your opinion. This Attorney General has impressed in me mightily in how quickly he has moved, how forcefully, how strongly in each issue that he has taken on. Your thoughts?
Well, I agree. Certainly on the issue related to his handling of the Mueller report, he's been excellent. He saw immediately through Mueller's gamesmanship here. He saw this 448-page smear job and got to the heart of it and blew it all up by saying the collusion doesn't exist. That's the big conclusion. And B, this obstruction gossip that you have doesn't pass muster, no obstruction. That's why the Democrats hate him. And now he needs to start impaneling grand juries and go to town. And as I say, be transparent and be sure that the Justice Department is reformed in significant fashion. Because it's the Justice Department's been the center of the storm here in terms of the corruption targeting President Trump.
It will also be, without question, the point of the spear if there is to be justice. Very quickly, as we wrap up, we're over time here, Tom. How should the White House respond to these subpoenas for McGahn, for all of the the documents that are being sought? Let's be real straightforward here. All of the harassment of this president and his White House.
To the degree it's harassment, they should oppose it. The idea that the president's lawyer would go and testify to Congress without privileges being asserted would be without historic precedent based on what certainly recently. If I were President Trump, I'd turn the tables on Congress. I'd start asking for documents from Congress about how they've been interacting with the intelligence community so he can figure out what to do in terms of reforming and making recommendations to Congress. Why is Congress immune from oversight? It's about time Congress answered to the American people as well.
Tom Fitton, Judicial Watch, thanks so much for being with us, Tom. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.